Having already looked at another of the Rubber-maid products, oh, Rubber-maid, it's so perverted sounding. Agnes the Rubber-maid liked nothing better than to march down the banqueting hall in her big, huge Rubber-maid's dress with it thrashing around her thighs. Exactly, that's what it makes me think of. It's a very strange name, but funny. It probably doesn't do their sales any harm at all. Rubber-maid. Anyway, this device has a wall mounting unit, or freestanding unit I guess, with a suitable security key to stop people stealing the cartridges out of it. It pushes up against these little prongs under here and opens it. And it has the same arrangement as before, but a completely different construction. It has a gas generating electrochemical cell, which is related to zinc air cells, but when you put a resistor across this, well, let's stick a meter across it. Let's see what voltage this is. So I would expect, well, let's put it down to the 2 volt range because it's not going to be a high voltage. It's going to be 0.4 to 1.3-ish volts. Put it across, it's 1.163 volts, and that will actually drop. In fact, if I just shorted it out right now, if I just shorted it out, can I short it out easily? The voltage will drop dramatically, and then it will gradually recover, as you can see. But what actually happens is, because this is being starved of air, it actually does an electrochemical reaction and it produces hydrogen, and it's going to push the liquid down in here into the base and then up this wicking material, and I'll show you the inside of one of these. To control that, and this is where I do set this back to 20k, we have a little module inside, and it's very simple. It's passive. There's no fancy electronics. It's simply got 2 resistors in here. If I put the meter across this, it shows that at the moment it's 2.47k, and if I click the switch to the other position, 4k, because that's the higher the resistance, the lower the current, and the slower the chemical reaction takes place. Rubber-maid does say, our devices don't contain batteries. This is a battery Rubber-maid. Just thought I'd mention that. So, what's inside? Well, fortuitously, I took one apart. What's inside is this cartridge of liquid, and the battery's at the top. Initially, I thought the liquid was completely exposed to the cell itself, but it's not. There is a little rubber diaphragm here that is going to inflate either like a balloon or it's going to burst in here. Well, let's get down closer to this because you want to see this. So there's a cell with the outer connection being the positive connection. It will have a rubber seal inside, Rubber-maid, in the form of an O-ring, because I already took one of these apart. And the button cell will vent into the inside through little holes in the back of it. Here's the liquid, and the liquid can't get out because the bottom is solid. But this, when you push it into the refill, it actually punctures that. It breaks the seal. And there is another little disc that's been inserted in here that I think has a tiny little orifice, a little rubber hole, that basically stops the liquid just blooping out with air coming in and the liquid going out. It has to be forced out by the gas that's generated by this cell. Let's take a look at the base here. So when you're activating this, you snap this off. This is where the place is going to stink. And then you actually push this in. That's it. It's burst the seal. And the liquid is now able to flow down into the base. Oh, that's going to stink so bad now. What's in the base is a spike here. And then the little reservoir. And if I remove the top here, we have a piece of wicking material, which when it's placed down into here, around that cylinder, it goes into the base and it just basically wicks it up. So as this gas pushes the liquid down very slowly, it just seeps up here, and as fast as it can be delivered, it will evaporate into the air and make it stink of crystal breeze. Or in the case of this one, which has just been activated, fruit crush. It already smells quite fruity, quite frankly. Fruity Rubber-maid. So let's see, this thing will go in here, and as soon as I do this, I shouldn't really tilt it at angles now, and I close it down. I'm tilting it right upside down. That's not good. And let's put it to the low setting, because let's not stick the house out too much. And then you just click this down, And that's it. The unit is going to electrochemically dispense aroma up into that wick. That is very neat. Very interesting indeed. I particularly like the fact that this particular vial is very, very clear and you can see everything that's going on. It's very stylish. But there we go. That is how the bigger Rubber-maid air freshener works. I'll just put it aside. The liquid will be pouring everywhere now. And that is it. So yeah, well worth exploring. I am doing some experiments at the moment regarding these cells. I've got a couple right now. A standard zinc air cell with a resistor across it, and the cell out of one of these with a resistor across it in syringes where I've put them in really compactly in the syringe and then sealed the end up to see if they both liberate gas and push the plunger out. More on that later in a different video. But in the meantime, that's it. Looks pretty neat. Very nice design.